What's going on, guys? It's your boy JF. Today we're doing a results video for the UFC. I'm just wrapping up Bellator's event. I'm watching their results. Rory McDonald and Fitch just ended. Nonetheless, we have the UFC event, UFC Fight Night 150, and did it deliver? It had every single fight was pretty lit. So I'm going to start with the start of the main card. Roosevelt Roberts defeats Thomas Gifford. In one of the three decisions, Roosevelt Roberts actually picked up a pretty dominant win against Thomas. Thomas was really that kind of guy that takes your strikes and then gives it back to you. But Roosevelt played it smart. Roosevelt dominated the first couple minutes, then shot a takedown and dominated the ground to finish the round. And he did that for 3 rounds, getting him the unanimous decision 30-27 on every scorecard. So then we move on to Lineker versus Sandhagen. John Lineker versus Cory Sandhagen. And another fight that ended in a decision. Sandhagen, this was very, very entertaining. Both guys had their moments, but nonetheless, Sandhagen was the one able to edge the decision, even though at the end of round number 3, Lineker was threatening a very, very deep guillotine choke. This was really, really close. Lineker was throwing the big shots, while Sandhagen was throwing the cumulative shots. Like he would throw 1, 2, 3, and the third one would hurt, but the first two would really hit him. So John Lineker just ended the fight with a loss, but nonetheless, John Lineker, I don't think his stock drops that much, but Sandhagen's stock rises exponentially. This guy is just entering the top 15, and this guy put on a really, really good performance against one of the best bantamweights in the world. I think Lineker might get Petr Yan next. That would be a huge fight, or he might fall even further down in the rankings. But nonetheless, this guy's still going to keep his top 10 spot. But Sandhagen makes his move into easily the top 10, and we're going to probably get to see him against a very, very game opponent in his next fight. Then we move on to the ageless wonder. I had Cutelaba to win the fight. This guy was outstriking him in the first. He rocked Glover, put him to the ground in the first, was hitting him with big strikes from the top, but Glover rallied in the second round to win the fight. Glover rocked him in the second round, then got the rear naked choke submission. Like once it got to the ground though, once Glover was in a dominant position on the ground, this one was easy for him to figure out how to win the fight. He flipped it over, got the back easily, then landed the rear naked choke finish. That landed right under Cutelaba's neck. Beautiful finish for Glover Teixeira, and that halfway marked our main card. Then we got to another fight. Fan favorite Mike Perry fighting in his home state. I think this is his home state of Florida. He was born in Michigan, but he trains out of Florida, taking on Alex Oliveira, the Brazilian who loves to have a great time. Alex Oliveira put out a game plan that just wasn't suited for him to win the fight. We all knew that Mike Perry was going to be stronger, probably a little bit more dangerous on the feet, and that's what it proved tonight. In the clinch, Perry landed a shot that rocked him, and most of the time, when Perry landed, it did more devastating damage, and when Oliveira landed, it was just basically for numbers. So we give Mike Perry the win, good decision win. I don't think he can do that against the top guy at welterweight, but nonetheless, Mike Perry, very, very entertaining, gets another win, 13-4 now, going into his new contract with the UFC. I'm interested to see where they go with him. Another guy may not have deserved his spot here. Greg Hardy takes on the co-main event slot versus Dmitrii Smoliakov, and I put out a tweet this night, and I said, man, I've never seen an opponent more scared in my entire life. Greg Hardy just struck fear in Dmitrii's eyes, and Dmitrii was playing back. His best strike was a running overhand right that didn't even really land. Greg Hardy landed a severe uppercut that knocked Dmitrii down, and then he ended up finishing the fight. Greg Hardy here in this position, I think it should have been really more a prelim fight. But nonetheless, we got the win for Greg Hardy. Next, we have the main event. I picked the fight, the winner. Hermanson did what I thought he was going to do in the first round. He rocked Soza and tried to get him in the guillotine, but Soza's so good at jiu-jitsu, man. This guy doesn't let... If you're going to rock him, you better not try and finish him with a submission, because this guy is so smart. He found a way to roll to his back in a guillotine choke. That was pretty crazy. Hermansson had to give up on it, but Hermansson dominated the first couple rounds. Soza pulled back in the last couple rounds, but Hermansson really, he put the staple on it in the last round. I think he won 4-1, maybe 3-1. He got the first 3, give Jacare the last 2. But nonetheless, Hermansson comes out big, and Jacare, in another attempt at getting a title fight, he couldn't come up in the big moment. This is what happens with Jacare to me. Jacare, you win this fight, you get a title shot, and then he loses. It's just what happens to him. I'm upset. I think this guy deserves a title shot as much as anybody else ever fighting in the UFC, but I don't know how long it's going to take for this guy to get one. That's how it goes for Jacare Souza. I picked that in my fight prediction. That's what I said. But nonetheless, that wrapped up a pretty game UFC Fight Night 150. From top to bottom, this card was one that I expected to deliver, and that delivered. I would give it a 4 out of 5 star rating. I wouldn't say that's how it goes for Jacare Souza. I picked that in my fight prediction. That's what I said. But nonetheless, that wrapped up a pretty game UFC Fight Night 150. From top to bottom, this card was one that I expected to deliver, and that delivered. I would give it a 4 out of 5 star rating. That'll do it for me in the results video for UFC Fight Night 150. You know I'm always trying to drop results videos for these events. I'm going to do one for Bellator right now that they just wrapped up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and for everybody that came out to the stream. We loved having your company. We love streaming with you guys, talking to you guys. It's always the best interaction there is that stream game. But that'll do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. JFT signing out. Peace out, guys.